So the long and the short of it is the website is in trouble. I hear you guys can help.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Totally, not a problem.
100%. Let us explain a little bit about what our company, Brushfire Media, does.
Okay.
Unfortunately, our other partners, Kyle Chadwick and Moog, couldn't be here.
And what they're doing, Sambone?
No.
Sambro?
No.
Sam Brown. Sambroni.
I like Sambone.
What's actually interesting about Sambone is they are pitching a straight to Nokia-based smartphone app called 5 Square. Similar to 4 Square, except that it's for medical professionals who have HPV.
What Brushfire Media does is a little different. We started in our dorm room at Oswego College
Go
4
Owls.
years ago as a way to seamlessly fuse branded integrations with content creators such as yourselves.
What does any of that mean?
Okay, look, if I could just drive the bus for a second.
Go for it.
Branded integration from a user-side content platform is dad.
It's dad.
It's totally dad.
It's dad.
It's dad.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to offend anyone.
Not offending me because I don't understand.
That is why we started Moody Mood Digital, okay? To focus on SEO, keyword-rich trend tracking, and have had a lot of success on the mobile-to-mobile, tablet-based client side.
So then we use that momentum with our silent partners, Brady, Chad, Dexter, Tyler, and Tim. We started up Gizcrunk Media, which provides user testing from an analytics perspective, and it's a companion product to KUM Digital's cloud source integration field.
Sorry, I'm a little confused. What's the name of your company?
Well, I actually feel like Devil's Deuce Interactive would be the best fit for you guys. Devil's Deuce Interactive was started 20 minutes ago due to a fever dream that my grandfather had in his deathbed while suffering from a subliminal hematoma at Mount Sinai.
But then we took on some capital from a VC firm out of Qatar, just to get it off the ground.
Devil's Deuce Interactive matches brands to alpha-based consumers material to their tablet-based P2P behavior.
Radical transparency, multi-stage engagement, etc. Absolutely no brand cuffs.
Absolutely no brand cuffs.
Absolutely
No risk of
no
brand
brand
cuffs.
cuffs. No brand cuffs.
No brand cuffs.
Absolutely no brand
brand
cuffs.
cuffs.
No brand cuffs. No brand cuffs.
No brand cuffs. I got it. That actually sounds like something.
Oh, sorry to cut you off, Sambone. 8 minutes ago, Devil's Deuce Interactive went under beeswax,
The
so...
company that you started 20 minutes ago went out of business 8 minutes ago?
Well, yes and no, and yes and no, and yes and no, and yes and no.
No.
No,
Yeah.
we're not out of business because we started up Angel Dump LLC 15 seconds ago.
As a companion service to Christ Milk Digital, which we started up 2 minutes ago via Twitter.
So I'm really sorry. What company are you representing right now at this moment?
At this very second, for the next 9, we're Christ Milk Digital.
It's a mobile-based app farming product employing demand-side real-time optimization to bring religious church-going folk into the cloud-based
Hunter, I don't mean to cut you off now, but I'm tracking a trend. That trend is hashtag as BN. I got bad news. Christ Milk just now went down.
Funny stuff. So we're going to go right into this. I will now announce the 3 companies that have won. You may have already seen this in Twitter and other places, but among the 12 companies we had competing throughout the last day, GoLocal24, Pricing Engine, and PunchCard are the 3 finalists. So we're going to hear from each of those one by one. Congratulations, guys.
Thanks.
And also, I'll take this opportunity to also just thank everyone else that competed. We had BizHive, Connected Commerce, Crave Labs, Goodzer, Local Blocks, Maple Farm Media, Meet Sochi, Perka, Quickla, and Stick. Thanks to you guys, and please give them a round of applause. So we're going to do quick demos, and then we're going to go into kind of a Shark Tank style grilling session by these 2 individuals. But before we do that, I also want to introduce Randy Parker to the stage. Some of you know Randy. He was a co-founder of Constant Contact, and now the CEO of PagePart. Randy, you can say a few things about yourself as well, if you want to.
Great. Thanks, Mike. Glad to be here. What we're doing now with PagePart is taking a stab at reinventing web presence for the very small business. If you actually spend time with the very small business, you realize in the last 20 years, there's not the simple answer to how do I get on the web, how do I do the web, how do I handle all these things we've been talking about this week. Their heads explode when you even bring it up to them. So we're going to try and do the same thing we did with email marketing, which is just make it simple, turnkey, push button, and something they love to do. That's the hardest thing. Even those that are on the web right now, they don't feel like they can get it done well. And nobody likes to do a job poorly. So we're tackling that. My passion's the small business and the entrepreneur. I do a lot of mentoring with small businesses and startups locally here with Techstars and things like that. And as Mike said, through Constant Contact, we were really close to the small business. we spent time in their shoes. And I really urge everybody, there's no substitute for that. I've heard a lot of pitches, a lot of discussions, even here at the show. And sometimes there's a disconnect. We're going to try and grill these guys and make sure that, the ones that are talking about small business or local business, they understand what the reality is. I'm not going to go as far as Andrew Mason did. I don't know if you saw that before he got bounced his Groupon. He was moonlighting as a sushi maitre d' in order to understand the life of the small business. But at least get in their shoes, spend some time with them. So
Great, thanks, Randy. And Randy also did a lot of work helping us put this whole thing together because of his work at Techstars and other things like that. So thank you for that. So we're going to start with Josh Fenton at GoLocal24. Josh, you have about 5 minutes, starting as soon as I start talking. And if we can get Josh's slides up on the big screen, go for it, Josh.
Great. Thanks so much. We launched GoLocal24 about 2 years ago, and if you think about in most cities and towns, you go to two truisms. One, newspapers had an unbelievable run, peaked at about $65 billion in 2000, and in the last 5 years has lost about $20 billion worth of revenue. They're now down to their 1945 levels. So there's this huge opportunity, this huge shift. Second truism is that 70 to 80% of all local news and information derives from newspapers. It does not take place at television stations, and it does not take place on blogs, and it definitely doesn't take place on radio. In most cases, radio doesn't even have any more reporters or editors. So if you live in a community, you've got to connect to something, and we think that there's a huge opportunity to disrupt the marketplace by launching digital platforms. So taking out all the extraneous, we've got no printing presses, we've got no trucks, we've got no little plastic bags, and we've got no throwing anything on anyone's lawns. Our distribution channel is fundamentally different. So we start with real content. We employ reporters and leading former journalists from television and radio. If you're from Massachusetts, we have 2 platforms up now, GoLocal Prov and GoLocal Worcester. On GoLocal Worcester, Bob LaBelle writes for us, Tom Finneran writes for us, Tim Cahill wrote for us till he got into trouble and doesn't write for us anymore if you're from Massachusetts. And we produce a tremendous amount of local content that really drives the news cycle in those marketplaces. And our distribution channel is fairly simple. We leverage 3 core competencies. One is social media. Between the 2 markets, about 2 million people, Providence and Worcester, we control about 180,000 Facebook and Twitter relationships. So we've built these big social media accounts that are demographically and really psychographically profiled to be able to bring different audiences in. So if you care about So if you're young and you care about going out and the Patriots and legalizing marijuana, then you're probably on one of our sites called the 401, which has 27,000 members. And we're populating that with content all the time. We also drop about 1.5 million emails on a monthly basis between the 2 markets. And then the third is, and this is very unusual, I mean, this is sort of the anti-thought process. We don't aggregate any content. We distribute utilizing media partnerships. So on Clear Channel Radio in Providence, we're their local news source. We go on air with our reporters every morning, kind of like Politico on Morning Joe, and read off the big story of the day. And we're on right at peak time and drive time. And it's our journalism every single morning for a 15-minute segment. Actually, on election night, we took over their airwaves from 12 noon till midnight, and we hosted all the journalism that day, and we had Tom Finneran on, and Democratic Party leaders, and Republican Party leaders, and Newt Gingrich we got to call in. So we really worked to dominate from a content standpoint, et cetera. When I talk about the social media, though, we're really pushing it out on a very aggressive standpoint, and we do it really all the time, almost on a 24/7 basis. So all our journalists, all our contributors are using their networks as well to push things out. And I'll tell you a little anecdote. In the last 10 days, The Who posted our music review on their Facebook page to 3.3 million members. The National Cathedral in Washington tweeted a story. 7 college presidents tweeted another story about rankings of New England colleges that we did. And most importantly, one of the celebrity apprentices tweeted one of our story. So it creates a tremendous amount of interaction. And by the way, none of those folks are in our markets. So that's how fast content moves today. The New York Times has picked up our stories, Wall Street Journal, Huffington Post, ESPN, et cetera, et cetera. So we're really working to own the news cycle. Now, most of you guys in here hate content plays. This gets very, very interesting as we launch more markets. So about 20% of our content now flows from one market to another. We have this great college admissions advisor. She's one of the leading experts. We helped make her one of the leading experts, and other people pick her up now. Well, she can run in Providence, and she can run in Worcester, and if we go out west, she can run out there because it's great original content. And then the price of that content keeps decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. The next part of this is advertisers have to be local, and for certain advertisers, they have to be embedded in content. And so the way we monetize is 4 ways. First, traditional display and pre-roll video. Absolutely, we've been able to attract a lot of significant advertisers. If you go on the site, Verizon, Direct Buy, National Grid from their New York agency, et cetera. Second area, eBlast, which we've been able to monetize. Third, and probably most important, it's been sponsored content where we sent 2 graduate students to the London Olympics, and Arbella Insurance sponsored that, and they wrote back about local stories and local athletes and things like that. And the third is major own something sponsorship. So when we did the college rankings, Alex Anani, the jewelry company, sponsored it with the individual bangle on the individual slide that aligned with that college. So the Brown University slide had a Brown University bangle. Thanks.
Excellent. So before we go into questions here, I'll say that some of the voting methodology you may already be familiar with. It's the same email address and the same hashtag we were using. You can vote anytime through this session, though you should probably wait till the end. And up till 7 p.m., the signage is out there to remind you of those things, but I'll say it now also. It's hashtag LiftoffAwards or liftoffawards@biakelsey.com if you want to email in your vote. And you can just basically say the team you're voting for in the subject line. So you guys have any questions based on what Josh presented in any particular order?
Sure, yeah. One question is, I love the content approach. I mean, that's, sometimes a little bit counterculture these days. But with social media, you've got such a small opportunity to get in front of the person, and there's no filtering. So how does that work in terms of being an effective news delivery vehicle?
Yeah, let it fly. You've got to start a community dialogue. If you're going to create a relevance, I think most consumers today don't want to be talked at. They want to participate in the content, and they want to be able to comment about it, whether they want to comment on the site or comment on the social media aspect of it, or be able to promote it or be able to shoot it down. I think the consumer absolutely demands an interactivity in their relationship with content.
So I admire your passion and the innate things that are being expressed through your idea. One comment, one question. I think in your presentation, you need to get to the business uniqueness earlier in your presentation, not leave the last 30 seconds. My question is, why do you think this is going to be successful where Patch and everyone else has failed?
Yeah, everybody has failed. There's a laundry list of major media companies that have crashed into the rocks. I think there's 2 fundamentals. One is an absolute belief that content matters and big stories matter. There are 3 federal investigations going on in Providence, Rhode Island. That is not news. It's a regular thing. The journalism that sparked all 3 was done by us, not by the incumbent legacy media. So I think that's number 1, that there's a higher level of relevancy. I think number 2 is the unique aspect that we've been able to leverage social media and be able to push information out to almost create engagement. Yeah. We're not a single standalone, you tune in or you tune out or you went to the website or you didn't. We're actually reaching out to you on a regular basis through a series of different technology opportunities. Right. So I think that's the second segment.
You're getting the hook.
I'm getting the hook. I'm done. Thanks very much.
Great job.
Thanks, Josh. So next up we have Pricing Engine. And you can actually go right into it, and we'll start the clock as soon as you start.
Just give me a second.
Yeah, that's okay. Take a few seconds if you need to get that right. And while he's doing that, I'll say again, if you want to tweet your vote, it's hashtag LiftoffAwards, or if you can email it to liftoffawards@biakelsey.com. All you.
Well, first I wanted to say thanks. We're really excited to be here, and I think the other two companies that made it to the finals, and everybody in our little area were great. I actually met a lot of great people, so I would definitely urge you to wait until after everyone presents and then vote for me. But they're really good guys, so please give them your attention as well. Pricing Engine is a company that helps small businesses do their digital advertising online better. And we come at this from the approach that it's very confusing for these guys to really understand and deal with all the various things that they're told to do. You've got to do this, you've got to do that. Really, a small business wants people walking through the door, they want sales, they want leads, and it's extremely frustrating. There's a lot of options, and they really don't have a lot of simple, plain English understanding of what to do. So we take the approach, speak to them in plain English, give them a single place to do things easily, reduce the solution set from the big, complicated things to something that makes it very easy for them to advertise. Our customers, therefore, are these millions of small businesses out there. The guys that aren't spending thousands of dollars or millions of dollars a year and having a team of marketing and PhDs to interpret every different AdWords report. But the guys who want to know, the real question a guy asked me in a focus group that we did, look, every month I sit down one night on a Sunday night and I rewrite my ads because I think I'm supposed to. And I want you to tell me, do I do that or do I play with my kids? So I told him to play with his kids, but he really had no information. He didn't know whether he had a good click-through rate. He had nothing to compare it to. Small businesses lack information. They don't know where they stand, and we provide it to them. What we do is we provide them a platform where they can register and present them with a way to, sorry, this isn't working, so present them to a way to easily set up their data and compare it to people like them. And in a couple minutes, I'm going to show you what that looks like. Now, what does this mean to you? I actually feel like we won today because I wanted to tell everyone here that many of you are potential partners for us. We currently work with hundreds of newspapers, people that are out there reaching small business as a trusted partner every day. And if you have small businesses that you reach as your customers, we can help you. For a lot of local media providers, for example, we take the ads that they already have approved in their newspaper, for example, we turn it into a search campaign. It goes through the salesperson who does an upsell, and they get a commission. Everything works through that trusted salesperson. I want to talk to all of you, not right now, but after this presentation. What we can do is make a simple digital product for your people to do without training or the need to become Google certified. Now, we can do it for you, or we can let your customers do it for themselves. Either way, you get extra revenue. We help you make money. We're not a vendor. We want to be a profit center. And this is where we differentiate ourselves. We try to make it easy. We don't overthink it. Well, all sorts of science and gobbledygook. We do have patents pending on some great predictive analytics. We're doing a lot of stuff with data. But you know what? Most people don't care about that. They just want to know the answer. They want to know, how am I doing? Am I generating any sales? So we do everything in terms of the value generated to the businesses. Now, I want to take a moment to, everybody got my joke, right? Okay, good. I wanted to take a moment to show you really quickly what this looks like to the end user. Let's say you're a small business. You go in and you say, look, I'm totally confused. I spent a little time on Google AdWords. Really have no idea whether I'm winning or losing. You come in and you sign up. You create an account, connect your data, and we pull your data right from Google. We tell you how you're doing with an easy-to-use report card. I'm an adjunct professor at Columbia. I teach digital marketing, so the first thing I do is start giving people grades. It's a bad habit. But the thing is, everybody looks at this and understands exactly what it means. We don't have to explain anything to them. There's no crazy terminology or three-letter acronyms. You got to be. Then when you go down, you can see all across this screen, you can see all the information that's important to you. What am I spending? How am I doing? What's my performance look like? Even better, you can scroll down and see in the key areas how you're doing. Now, if you're a florist, you don't want to know how you're doing compared to 1-800-Flowers. That's a little unfair. So you can select key things like the industry you're in, the budget range you want to be compared to, even your location, so that your peer group, the people that you're being compared to, are achievable goals for you as a small business. This is really important. Now, let's say you're thinking, this is great, but now I want to know what to do about it. I'm not doing so well. Well, we take you to a dashboard. Now, this is an expert system that kicks out recommendations and tells you how to go from being a D student to an A student. We tell you what it's worth, too. You'll notice there's a number up there. That's based on you're telling us what your sales are worth, or we can pull that directly from your website. So it's not about, here's all the things you should do in the unlimited amount of time that every one of those how-to article seems to assume you have. It's what are the 3 things I can do in the 4 hours I have to fix things now, and what's it worth? So with all of that, you can simply fix what you're doing. Let's say you want to start a campaign, though, because we know small business owners don't have a lot of money, and they also don't have a lot of time. You create a campaign, and the first thing we do is ask you about your business. We ask you, do customers walk in the door? Do they buy from you online? Do they call you? Each of the answers to this question allows us to, behind the scenes, do things like geofencing, like click-to-call, to add all these options into your campaign without having to make you make all these choices. You then go and you pick all the things you want to do. Your targeting, you select it once. Your ad, you create it once. We show you how it looks on all the different channels you might select. Right now, we're looking at Google and Bing. Not the best ad.
How many more steps do you have? You're already over time.
One more step.
Okay, get to it then.
And then finally, you pick your budget. So this is all done from a simple 3-step process, and the business can not waste any time. If you have any questions, I'll answer afterwards, but first, look at these puppies.
Excellent. All right, thank you. Judges.
So I think we've done a diligence call once before.
Yes, you were kind enough to speak to me on Skype, and this is the problem. I like both these guys, and I think they both know way too much.
Yeah, I've been in the business for a very long time. So I would ask 2 questions, simple ones. You have do a 30-second answer. One is what really is original about this idea? And 2, because I've really challenged it, I think I did before on Skype.
Okay.
Now it's live. And there 2 is how does it actually become a monopoly? Because you're building on top of someone else's monopoly.
Good questions. It's not a very nuanced answer. It's very simple. Right now, everyone who helps people do this kind of unified dashboard for advertising is helping big guys with big budgets and a team of people. We're trying to do one very simple thing. Strip out the complexity to what small businesses care about. We don't want to talk jargon. We don't want to give them endless options. We give them the stuff that they can get them to good enough and get them sales or leads. Very simple. And how do we become a monopoly is very simple as well. Right now, our biggest competition is do-it-yourself Google AdWords or nothing. And so what we want is somebody to come on with their AdWords campaign and say, wait, you're telling me that if I just click this button, I can get 20% more leads by adding Bing? And then we have another button where you can click and add some Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, and suddenly you have this multi-channel campaign. Sure, you could go to 20 different self-serve channels, some of which you actually can't buy on your own, but we're one place, it's one stop, and we're like an insurance policy. We worry about whether there's something going wrong or whether there's a new opportunity. And then we'll tell you. You don't have to check in every day. The dashboard is there for you to check when you want, but you don't have to worry. Peace of mind in a way. Answer your question?
It's an answer. I mean, I know the space very, very well. So
That's better than I could be with your experience, so I'm happy.
Randy, your thoughts or questions?
Yeah. So I heard a lot. I think the presentation laid out a way to get this done that people in this room probably understand. Mm-hmm. What I didn't hear was talk to Joe at Joe's Pizza. Mm-hmm. I didn't hear or what Mike at Mike's Plumbing, right? We get pizza and plumbing at a Kelsey show. How does Mike tell his buddy Joe at Joe's Pizza what you do? What's the pain? I heard a lot of vitamin, didn't hear pain reliever.
I see. Well, Joe's Pizza is a great example because I live in the Village in New York, and Joe's is an awesome pizza place. Joe's problem is he's out there with no guidance. He's flying blind, and he's competing against Domino's and these guys with huge budgets. He can't run tests because he's got a small budget. He's never going to do all those fancy things we tell him to do. So what he says is, look, I go in, they put templates out so I don't have to figure out what ads to write. They tell me what's working compared to people like me, so I don't waste time on all these different possibilities. I get focused in on the things digital is good for me. And if I've hit my limit, I can forget about it. If $200 is the natural amount of leads I can get that month, I don't sell them the ads. That's passed through. I just help them figure out what's working. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, probably a little longer than you're going to get with the small business, right? They're incredibly intention-starved, and you want to pass along. What's the 25 words?
Well, here's the easy sell. You're already doing a sale. Your salesperson with a newspaper saying, you're buying that full-page ad. Or your salesperson at radio is saying, you're getting that ad on the radio. What's the first thing you do when you think about that business? You go and search on Google. Don't you want to be there? Yes, but it's so complicated. We'll take care of that.
Great, and another thing I'll say is the great part about this is not only the questions, but some of the advice from these great guys. So I hope this is a good experience for you, and I enjoyed your presentation. So how about a hand for Pricing Engine?
Thank you. And vote for us.
Next up, we have PunchCard. Andy Stoyer, CEO, and Andy, you can take it away. And I think we have your
Sure,
deck that's going to be loaded up, and that's
Great.
for you.
All right, thank you, everybody. My name is Andy Stoyer. I'm the CEO, founder of PunchCard. PunchCard is a mobile shopping app where you as a consumer shop anywhere where you like to shop and you earn rewards along the way. And I'll show you how it works here, if I can get this working. There we go. So the pain in the market is, and the way that I came to this company is, after managing thousands of search campaigns and millions of dollars of budgets in my last company, we heard a lot from customers, and the reason why they were churning out of media programs is because they don't know if their customers come back, and they don't know who their customers are, and so therefore the ROI is hard to figure out. So I don't know if it's working for me, I'm out, it's expensive. So that's a big part of the challenge that's going on in the small business's head. So I thought, well, if you could provide visibility and night vision to these businesses to find out who are those customers and what's the lifetime value of those customers, how frequently are they coming back, and who are my best customers, and be able to remarket back to them. I thought, well, that would be a great way to kind of put a hole in that, or put a plug in that leaky bucket that they have currently to make their ROI stronger. So the way that PunchCard works on the consumer side is you simply shop anywhere, you take a picture of your receipt to verify your purchase, and you play a spin and win game where you can win points or prizes. And those prizes can be things like a sponsored reward in a way for a new business to acquire you as a customer. So before I go on, there's two revenue models with PunchCard. We align with every business needs to get customers and keep customers. So our get customer side is this acquisition unit where American Apparel, in this case, is putting $10 of American Apparel dollars into that consumer's pocket. Congratulations, you just won $10 at American Apparel. So your likelihood of going there is a lot higher than simply just a 320 by 50 ad banner. And I'll get to the retention side in a second. And so these are examples of several ads that have run across our platform that incent consumers to go shopping at those places. And you simply opt in with your email address to accept that reward. And when you do, that reward gets emailed to you, or that gift card gets emailed to you, and we get paid on that opt-in event. We get paid anywhere from 50 cents to $2 per that opt-in, which comes out to somewhere between $55 to $60 CPM. So great acquisition unit and great ad unit. The retention side of the business is, in this case, Citgo is a customer, and they want to retain their customers. So they offer a punch card to their customers, and they say for every 6th punch that you do here, every 6th transaction, you earn a $15 gift card. So it's a great way for them to incent their customers to keep coming back, and don't go to Shell and don't go to Chevron, come here, and it engenders loyalty and it rewards those customers. Another interesting aspect of this is that because PunchCard works everywhere, essentially anywhere you can check in, you can check out with PunchCard. So we've turned on all of these businesses, and as a result of that, consumers can use PunchCard anywhere, and they do. And for non-participating businesses, so King Taco in this case, there might be a Queen Taco who wants to acquire those customers in a conquest environment. Or let's say, for example, in a services business, that if there's a hardware store that's not participating, there might be an HVAC or a roofer advertiser who wants to target people who are shopping at that place to be able to incent them and get them to become customers. So this is a great way to be able to do very targeted kind of media buy. What's happening on the back end is that we combine social graph data with consumer purchase data, which helps build this really rich profile for consumers and gives visibility for the businesses to be able to now know who are my customers, who are my best customers. Much in the same way that a CRM works, you can now segment those customers and trigger-based messaging to those customers on an automated basis so that you can send one message to one customer and another to somebody who hasn't been back in a while. So you might offer something a little bit more aggressive to somebody who hasn't been back in a while. One of the benefits of PunchCard is that there's no integration with the POS. We capture all this really rich consumer purchase data, which becomes rich in targeting on the one hand, but also becomes really great business intelligence for businesses on the other hand. What we're also able to do is, stripping away any PII data or any personalization data, we're able to put together Nielsen-like kind of reports of what's happening in the marketplace. How does Starbucks compare with Peet's Coffee or with Coffee Bean? And this is the kind of insight that businesses have never had before. This is a great way to be able to see, how do I stack up as an auto company? I'm a tires company. How do I stack up in the market? This is KFC, for example. So KFC, how do I stand up against McDonald's and all these other businesses in my market? They have no way of knowing this data, and we can now provide that new business intelligence to them. Thanks.
Nice timing, right when the clock ended, too. You get bonus points for that.
All right.
So before we go to judges, a quick question. How do you authenticate the receipt scans and kind of log those in an automated fashion? It seems like there might be some room for error in an automated way to do that.
Sure. So we have some patent pending technology around that. So with each receipt that gets uploaded, we score it.
Okay.
And we score it across a number of criteria. So we OCR the receipt, meaning we pull the data off the receipt, or the best data that we can off of it. And then we look at it across a number of criteria. So we look at the date, we look at the amount, we look at the number of items on the receipt to tell the uniqueness of it. And then that goes through a filter. We also have companies who ask us to do the full transcription of the receipt, in which case we can employ mechanical turking, for that type of a customer.
Makes sense.
But that's across that whole way, we're able to capture really great data from that.
Okay, makes sense. Judges.
Yeah, just two things that are closely related. One is, to use Brian's terminology from the keynote before, how do you build the moat around this business? And why is it not features that get added to the myriad other loyalty punch card style apps?
Yeah, so we think, first of all, we're very different than a loyalty app or other loyalty apps out in the marketplace, because we align with the transaction and we capture that purchase data. Because we're able to capture that data, and because of our ubiquity in the marketplace, we're able to capture data from millions of businesses, which puts us into really a data company where loyalty is a byproduct of what we do, and it's one of our products. But at the root of it, we're a data company. So the way that we put a moat around that is we do that through, we are just announcing our API that's capable. So anybody who wants to build punch card features into their app, we can do that to create distribution and create this unique functionality into other third-party apps. And similarly, anybody else who's capturing receipts already, like expense reporting apps that are out there, we're working on partnerships now with them to be able to create a rewards and sponsorship kind of capability that monetizes that user base and also creates a great user experience for those users and helps us aggregate the most receipt data out there.
So just to close, one good presentation. This is a venture grade presentation. I'm assuming you may or may not have raised money, I don't know, but this is what you expect.
Ideal Lab, right?
Thank you. We're part of Idea Lab.
There you go. So this is high, very quality.
Thank you.
So two assumptions, two challenges. One is I wonder if you're doing too much, to be honest with you. I think that you're betting on two high friction things. One is that someone's going to scan in a receipt, so you got to solve that high friction behavior so that it magically just happens, so there's no work. I think those are big bets that I would bet the statistics are against those ideas. And secondly is that people want ads in this type of environment. I think it's also a risk. So I wonder if, those things aside, if you had to bet at all on a single big idea in all this, what is it? Because the path out of the woods, the economic oxygen in this is probably going to be around one big behavior that you create and own. And what would that be?
So the big behavior is aggregating consumer purchase data and combining it with personalization information so that we can create targeted profiling for consumers. Consumers are able to get the benefit of saving money from brands and businesses that they love.
But that's what you get. I'm asking what needs to be done to get that? Who needs to do what for that to be true?
So the first phase of our growth is receipt scanning, simply because it's the lowest point of friction. It's difficult to ask somebody to connect their credit card, for example, to...
And that's the assumption of challenging.
Right. So we think that that's great as we continue, as we scale up, and as we partner with other brands that have a deeper relationship with their customer base, and to be able to make that accretive to the receipt scanning aspect of what we do. Receipt scanning is first base in what we do. What we're able to do is expand that out to other ways that consumers might want to interact with us. So for example, if it's an e-receipt, create an email address that they can forward that e-receipt to be able to build their own valuable sort of mint-like kind of profile where they can have know their own expense reporting.
I know we're out of time, but I would just say,
for it.
relative to what you're saying, I think the linchpin of this business is going to be bet 1 or 0 outcome on that single area of focus.
And
That happens, you win.
your comments
Good.
on kind of tying in with the workflow of other products. There's Lemon, there's Expensify, there are a lot of other places where receipt scanning is happening.
Yeah.
The question is, can you integrate with those to scale up?
We can. We're talking to them. And
Interesting. So,
Good job.
hand for
Good
punch
job.
card.
thank you.
So in total, we have GoLocal24, pricing engine, and punch card. You have, I think I said 7 earlier. It's actually up until 9 to vote. You can either tweet it to #LiftoffAwards or email it to liftoffawards@biikelsey.com. We're going to put up some signage in the reception just to remind you. So that reception, speaking of which, starts now. It's sponsored by, Response Tap. And also music sponsored by Moon Valley Software. Tomorrow morning, we're back in here at 8:30. And before that, there is a breakfast sponsored by Telmetrics. So please join me in thanking all of our competitors and our judges.
Thank you.